Welcome to Rock Kaput. My name is Alex, and I'm gonna talk about the brand new album Hum of Hurt by metalcore veterans Converge tonight. Converge are from Salem, Massachusetts, and this is their 12th album so far. So yes, but before getting into this review, please hit like and subscribe to the channel so you get notified when we upload new videos on punk, rock and metal. So first I want to give you a brief info summary on Converge if you don't know them. They are kind of blending hardcore punk with many different elements hardcore and punk and sludge, mathcore, a genre they were pioneers and creators, you can say, and noise rock and many more. And their sound combines aggressive riffs, complex rhythms, and raw, passionate vocals. And Converge are really one of the major influences on the whole metalcore genre. Their current lineup consists of founding members Jacob Bannon on vocals and Kurt Ballou on guitar. Kurt Ballou is also a famous producer. He produced bands like High on Fire, Tag, Nails, Cave-In, and many, many more. And of course, he also produced Converge. And created their famous sound. Their most famous album is Jane Doe from 2001. It is widely regarded as a classic of extreme guitar music. It's a very intense, ferocious album. It's really fantastic. And a few years before Jane Doe was recorded, drummer Lou Collar and bassist Nate Newton joined the band, and they remained members until today. And those four guys are all playing on the new album Hum of Hurt. So let's get into it. The album is produced, of course, as I mentioned before, by guitarist Kurt Ballou at God City Studio. And what is quite remarkable, it is Hum of Hurt is actually their second album released in 2026. The first one was Love Is Not Enough in February this year. So why? So Hum of Hurt was written and recorded during the same sessions as its predecessor, but the band emphasizes that this is not a sequel. It is really intended as a separate album which has its own identity. It's not really a follow-up or something. And I think it's kind of true. Both albums don't have much in common. I mean, you hear it's Converge, but they really have a very, very different identity. So it's not really a companion piece or something. So, and the whole lyrical concept was inspired by the hum, which is an unexplained low frequency sound, only audible to some, but not all people. It's a very interesting phenomenon. Now let's get into the songs. The album starts with Slip the Noose, which is an explosive opener with frantic riffs, cool guitar leads and a nice groove. And then the second song is unlike the rest of the album, is quite accessible. It's kind of the hit of the record. It's called Doom in Bloom. And it combines dissonant guitar lines, but it's still very accessible. And it combines it with surprisingly melodic passages. And this is probably the most accessible track of the album. I suggest to listen to this one first if you consider getting into this. So the next song is called It Only Gets Worse, which opens with insane drumming. It's a very noisy track, again dissonant guitars, but this time paired with a cool rolling bass riff. It reminds me a little bit on the noise rock band the Jesus Lizard, if you remember them from the 90s. Yeah, I love this kind of sound. This is really a short, chaotic, punky blast. Yeah, but it's a little bit mathcore precision is added. Yeah, very interesting, very cool track. I was into it immediately because I'm kind of a sucker for such a sound. The next song is called Detonator, which is very heavy and has a stomping rhythm, and is built around a crushing grooves. And yeah, it's a very cool, ongoing, noisy riff. The next one's called I Won't Let You Go. I mean, all the song titles are great. Just as standalones. The next song is called It's Not Up to Us. Or It Used to Matter is another song. Really cool. But no, I want to talk about I Won't Let You Go now. So I Won't Let You Go is one of the album's more emotional tracks. It contrasts aggression with interesting dynamics. A lot of this, the strengths of this album relies on contrast between really aggressive, loud parts with a lot of drums and guitar noise, and more quiet parts, which is really quite interesting. Yeah, It's Not Up to Us has insane guitar runs. Jacob's screams are great here, and yeah, it has again stop and start riffs, and it emphasizes rhythmic shifts. The next song, Dream Debris, it's the album's centerpiece. It's 6 minutes long. It's quite noisy and atmospheric, has layered guitars, and creates a quite uneasy mood. So, until the next song kicks in, called It Used to Matter, which is also nice and atmospheric, has a slower tempo, but the song builds tension before erupting later into an incredible wall of Kurt Ballou guitar sound, very powerful, and it's always amazing, and it really sounds fantastic. Yeah, it's really a wall of sound, and yeah, after this build up, it really crushes. So then the next single follows. It's the title track, Hum of Hertz. Yeah, it's full of noise rock textures, very atmospheric again, nice crescendos, and again, a great scream by Jacob. Very tasteful guitar lines. It's really an awesome track, and really one of the highlights. And yeah, I think both singles were chosen very well. I think yeah, very good picks. Yeah. And the last song is called Nothing Is Over. It's kind of a cathartic, closer to the album, that combines melodic guitar work with Converge's trademark ferocity. It's really a bang in the end, and then they're gone. So, yeah, for a conclusion, it is almost inevitable to compare those two albums released in 2026. So, Love Is Not Enough, the first one from February, is the more accessible record. It's more metal, definitely. It's heavier and also catchier and more accessible. It's really a very, very accessible, cool Converge album that you love at first listen. But Hum of Hurt is a bit different, the new one. It's more adventurous. It leans more toward hardcore noise rig and mood. And yeah, you need to listen to it a bit more often until it really clicks. So, and if Love Is Not Enough is the more explosive punch, is Hum of Hurt is the darker and moodier album, but it is every bit as strong after a few spins. I mean, it's very different. They are in that way, they are hard to compare because it was such a different approach. Jacob Bannon has said the band originally discussed making a real noise rock album. But I mean, they didn't fully go into that route, but they still, because they still have a lot of conventional Converge trademarks here, but they have really, really many noise rock elements on this one. And yeah, that's part of its appeal, and I like it very much. I love noise rock, and they really, really did a great job. Yeah, the guitars on Hum of Hertzes are more dissonant and textural, but there is still mathcore precision in Kurt Ballew's leads. Yeah, which is a nice and very, very cool and interesting combination. And yeah, all the songs here, I've mentioned it before, they benefit a lot from the contrast from explosive and more quiet moments that take time. And yeah, I mean, if you go full speed or full attack all the time, it doesn't mean anything after a while, yeah. But this time, yeah, after those quiet moments, the guitar and the whole band, the sound has room to breathe. When it then hits, it really hits. Yeah, and Converge, as you might know, are a very versatile band. They are really all the whole band. They really can play their instrument. So but there is never the technicality or the complexity of the songs are not done just for the sake of technicality. It always has a purpose in the song. I wouldn't say this about a band like Dillinger Escape Plan, for example. They have a lot of more technicality for the sake of technicality sometimes. Yeah, but in Converge, there's always a lot going on, but it feels natural. And there is not really, I wouldn't call it overplaying in the mathcore sections of the song. So to sum it all up, Hum of Hurt incorporates more texture, atmosphere, and dynamic contrast. Yeah, which makes this album a bit more challenging to listen to, but it also has our beloved chaotic Converge energy that defines the band, and that's of course part of their appeal. Yeah, and now in the end, I want to point out the obvious, what every Converge fan is thinking. Why do I need a Converge review? Because, and I mean, yeah, you don't really need one, because this band has such a high standard on every new album that it is insane. They always deliver. You can blindly buy any new release because it's so good, and yeah, your expectations are always met, and they never disappoint. They are always incredible. Yeah, and yeah, this is no exception. Another fantastic album. No surprises here. So, if you know Converge, you won't have any problems getting into this, but if you are new to the band, I recommend the more accessible Love Is Not Enough album. But you know what? Why not listen to both? So, that's also an option. So thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe to the channel, and see you on Rock Kaput.